T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, three, two, one.
Hello, how are you all doing? I'm Paul. I'm glad you liked the video, and it was your idea after all. So we put that together in a bit of a rush. The timing was just a little bit, the countdown, couldn't quite nail that, but I think the guy at NASA was just getting too excited and basically got it wrong.
That's all right. People need things to write in about.
People need, write in about that. Tell us, tell us how that's wrong and how we can improve it, because we're learning, and it took a little while to do that kind of thing, to be honest. So what have we got tonight? Well, tonight, lots and lots of news to talk about, lots of interesting things and some slightly weird things, should we say. Bit of a digital update. We haven't had one of those for a while, so we'll give you that. Just a little bit about the 2K with some hints from last week. I went. Carol's screen froze. Sorry. Oh, that's good. Okay, now. A few bits of events and then some plugs. And towards the end, when we feel like pressing the button, we've got Simon Keeling's weather update for this weekend. So you want to hang around, see what that's like, and see what you can do. So that's what I've got. I'm gonna pass over to Dave or Ed while I do the IT stuff and get some pictures going. Let's see if I can do that. Nearly. There you go.
Aha. There we go.
So
this is
about that, one of you.
This is the Garmin has just announced a G500 TXI flight deck availability for older Cirrus SR20s and 22s, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty good, and it's a bit of a lifesaver for owners of old Cirrus SR20s and 22s, because the Avidyne stuff they were fitted with, good though it was at the time, is now a bit out of date, and this looks like gives a whole lot more functionality. What do you think, Ed?
I think the exciting thing about this is the fact that you can take you can invest in some super modern kit, go out, but if you're not in the kind of budget for buying a brand new Cirrus, go out, shop the market for something that's secondhand, and then do this to it. And this is fantastic. You think if you get a real keen price on one of the older Cirruses, put this kind of kit in it, that's going to be a phenomenal machine.
So I was talking to Garmin today, and so obviously you can retrofit this to the Avidyne Integra machines, but you can also fit it to older Cirruses pre-Integra as well. So that's pretty good. I wonder if it's the used market for Cirruses. I think this kind of might strengthen it a bit, because this really gives you something special. It shows people that there's a path. A while ago there was talk of Avidyne doing something but it never materialized. And I think when you show people the way, then they're just excited. They know they can kind of, it's like going into the hairdressers with a photo and going, I'll have a crew cut like this or something. If you've got a plan and you can see how it's going to go, then this is great. And what I think is fantastic is if you look in the standby instruments at the bottom, their new GI 275 is right smack in the middle there. And if you think about it, you could actually take the really old Cirrus with the 6-pack, the old steam-driven 6-pack, and just put a whole bunch of GI 275s in for completely retro electric kind of setup. The thing that made this possible apparently was the approval of the EIS engine information system on the Cirrus. So before that, you were a bit stuck for engine information. Now that's integrated onto the G500 TXI displays. That's good. And
How does the weight of it compare? I don't know. I'm going to suspect it'll be lighter, but I'm going to suspect so will your wallet.
Yes.
But this will also work for those eagle-eyed avionics spotters out there. That autopilot's the DFC-90, which has been quite a popular autopilot in the serious retrofit world. The good old S-Tech 55X is a fantastic autopilot until you've used something else, and then it's not so fantastic. So a lot of DFC-90s are in there, and this works with the DFC-90 and will work in not too long a time, I think, with the GFC500 as well. So some really good options there for people. So that's a bloody good thing. But as of yet, I'm not sure. I haven't seen how much it's going to cost. So looking at that, a couple of screens, GO275, 2 GTN 650s. Probably not going to get much change from a lot of money, are you?
No, but if you get a bargain on an aeroplane, or if you find a really good used Cirrus, it's got to be worth considering.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anyway, let's see. What have we got in our next picture? I think no, we got another item before we got a picture. Did we have a picture of Chiltern Park?
We did.
No, we don't. No.
We did.
No, we don't.
No, we didn't. Oh,
No.
spotted too early. Chiltern Park. They need a hand, apparently.
Yes, Chiltern Park Airfield is a lovely little grass airfield near what is it near? Near Goring in South Oxfordshire, and Dennis Pearson and his wife have been running it for the last 32 years. But the owner of the land now wants to do something else with the land, which is fair enough. He owns the land, why not? But Dennis is looking around to try and find somewhere else to move, finding it difficult, and he's got this idea that he might be able to change the use of the land to something called an asset of community value. But to support that, he needs emails from pilots who have flown in there or people who think it's a very good idea. So if you go to the Flyer website, look at the news story on the subject, and there's an email address there, and what Dennis is asking you to do. So that's Chiltern Park. It's one of the few places in the UK that offers all 9 recognised air sports.
No way, really?
Yeah. So it's actually a pretty good asset to flying. Yeah.
Any idea what the owner wants to do with it? Carol's asking. I had heard horses, but I'm not. I wouldn't get pressed with that. 'Cause who knows who's did that?
No.
Let's talk about this then.
So this is the Faraday Bihar, and Faraday are in the news because they've just agreed a deal to move to a new AvTech, Aviation Tech campus that's being set up next to Duxford Airfield, with one of the Cambridge colleges, Gonville and Keys, not Chaos, as I thought personally. Anyway, so the Faraday Bihar is this peculiar looking aeroplane. Now the aeroplane may look rather strange, sort of a biplane with a private jet front and at the back some big fan, but actually the power unit is a really interesting unit. It's been developed by Faraday working with ProDrive, who you may know are rally specialists, and they developed this fantastic it's quite a powerful hybrid electric unit. We've discussed this in the office, and we think possibly the best idea will be to concentrate on the engine and quietly forget about the rest of the aircraft. But anyway, so the good news is that it's a British company receiving money from somewhere, not quite disclosed as yet, to set up on the new Cambridge AvTech Aviation Campus. So that sounds very good.
Yeah, it's like we said. It's whenever you start with a new power plant, all the legendary aircraft designers say new power plant, put it in a fairly conventional or existing airframe, starting with a completely wacky and really out there airframe, and then going with a really new power plant. It's quite a leap, and it's exciting. And I think anything that comes along and stops people in their tracks is a good thing. So
I mean, based on the thousands of aircraft that I've never designed, why is that not a triplane?
What he wants to achieve is short takeoff, so he needs lots of wing surfaces to give lift, hence it's a biplane. but he also wants to achieve a good cruise speed, so the streamlined effect.
And there is, I think there is a science in connecting wings, isn't there? It's meant to reduce. There's an element of reducing drag at the tips.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, move on.
Move
We'll
on.
see.
I'm no designer.
Move on. Volterra.
That looks a bit more conventional.
It is. It's based. I mean, loosely, it's based on a Cessna 337, the centerline twin, as it's called, but it's very loose. And this also has a hybrid electric power unit at the back, as you can see, with this canard wing at the front and the twin boom tail at the rear. It's a French company. It's come out of an Airbus project. The former chief technical officer of Airbus has started this company, and the former chief test pilot of Airbus is his test pilot, and this is their project. Moving on quickly here.
No, sorry, I haven't finished. I wanted to say something about this very loosely based 337.
I don't think it's that. The proof of concept aeroplane is based on the 337, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
So I was reading some of the stuff around this, and it's clearly a serious company. At one time, it was entirely owned by Airbus, but I don't think it is anymore. And they're talking about 3 different versions. So the first version that they're talking about, they're planning to deliver at the end of 2022, which is 2.5 years away. And 2.5 years is not a very long time to completely certify an airplane, get production organization approval, and get it out there and flying. And the other thing I couldn't really understand, because there was a lot of stuff in the website about it being seriously sleek, and I fully admit, hands up, those people at Airbus know a lot more about airplanes than I do. So take this comment with a pinch of aeronautical salt. But the engine in the 4-seater is going to be something like 300 and something kilowatts, which works out at 450 horsepower. 450 horsepower is a stonking old engine, and in a 4-seat airplane, but it's still only talking about a cruise speed of 200 miles an hour. So there's something that's not quite matching there, because you get cruise speeds like that out of PA-46s, Cirruses, Barons, Moonies, not Barons, Bonanzas, Moonies, that kind of thing, not far off, and they're all talking around the 300 horsepower. So what's it doing with the extra 140 horsepower in this sleek-looking fuselage?
Maybe they're just setting the expectation level low so that they can deliver more than they promised.
That would be very typical of aviation marketing people, wouldn't it? Just to set
that would be very untypical, wouldn't it? It's like
exactly.
It's got 65 horsepower and will cruise at 400 knots.
That's true, and cost 3 pence.
Yes,
that's Dave's Loscombe. Good. Well, good luck. I mean, good luck to them. And that's in southwest France, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's right. Toulouse.
We might have a manufacturer of hybrid aircraft in southwest France, and one of them in just over the road from Duxford, I guess, or on Duxford, which would be a good one. So, talking of things that are slightly bonkers and out there,
there's a professional pilot training company called Skyborne Airline Academy, and they're taking steps, as most of the professionals are, to try and work out what all these newly trained pilots are going to do now that the aviation industry is in a bit of a crisis. There's not as many jobs as there used to be. So anyway, they've come up with this idea of training graduated airline pilots as drone pilots. Now, they may not stay there for very long. They're probably obviously waiting for an airline seat, but it makes sense, because if as an airline pilot you train, you understand air law, you understand navigation, you understand systems, you understand planning, you know how to fly an aeroplane. So it actually makes a bit of sense. But this is them showing what drones can do, or remotely piloted aerial vehicles, aerial systems. Anyway, so the idea is this could be a medevac, an air ambulance.
What you need an ambulance? Well, you need an ambulance after you've been on it, or
if you raise your hand to say, "Can I have a drink of water?"
I think the key thing with the Skyborne training was that they were talking about training pilots for beyond line of sight, aren't they?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yep. So beyond line of sight means exactly what it says, and it's quite a contentious thing. There have been various experiments where various air passages have been announced by NOTAM saying there's going to be tests. But really it means flying the aircraft, looking through the camera on the drone to see where you're going, plus all sorts of other instruments. It's a very sophisticated process. It's not like flying a little hobby drone.
There's I think there's an airspace change proposal either been published or about to be published by the MOD to create a little corridor from Kieval to Salisbury Plain, which is and where I am now is actually underneath the airspace that's going to be activated by NOTAM for beyond line of sight drone training, military drone training. So that will be kind of interesting. Yeah, fortunately, it won't be active all the time. But anyway, so are we ready to move on to this picture?
Yes. It's too scary.
Get more dronery. Oh God, why didn't that work? There you go.
Yes. So this is the Ehang. Ehang is a Chinese company that has really pushed ahead with the idea of making passenger carrying drones, and this is it. It's actually, and what they're doing now is they're taking it around various cities in China to show it off and try and convince people to use it and to invest in it. They're clearly very well funded. It's a very well organized company. The idea is that you just call up the drone, or you call up the Ehang on your mobile phone using a special app, and it picks you up and takes you somewhere. At the moment, they're running tourist flights, and as well as going around this very pretty city in some part of China, they're also flying people over water, which is the next picture. This one. So this is inside. As you can see, the person sitting in there, who weighs about 3 stones, anyway, she doesn't actually have to. The passengers don't actually have to do anything other than just sit there. It's all flown just like a drone, remotely by a ground controller. And Ehang have published pictures of their great control room, which is very well organised, but looks a bit like a air traffic control centre. It is going places. This is not as wacky as it first seems.
It is. No. I won't be joining the queue, I don't think.
No. So what we're going to do now, because there's a little bit of an IT thing that I have to do, Dave and Ed are going to have a quick chat about CSA in Czech Republic, Czech Sport Aircraft, while I grab a different screen share for everybody.
Okay. So what's going on at CSA? Yeah.
So what's going on at Czech Sport Aircraft is that, unfortunately, at the end of June, they had to file for bankruptcy. They owe 62 million Czech crowns, mostly to their lead investor. Now that sounds a staggering sum of money. It sounds like the sort of money that will keep a government afloat, but in fact it's 2.1 million pounds, which is it's still a lot of money, but in aviation terms it's pretty much pocket money. So I'm surprised that they've had to file for bankruptcy just because of that. You may know Czech Sport Aircraft produced a sport cruiser, which has been quite a successful light sport aircraft.
So now we're ready for this. Sorry about this, people. This absolute smooth thing here. So big news is there's a date for Microsoft Flight Sim, I believe, the release. August the 18th. Is that right?
Yep.
And so let's just pretty impressive bloody graphics. And here's a little sample for you. There you go.
Wow, yeah. Things have moved on since Flight Sim version 1 and a stick rendering of Chicago Meigs Field.
Meigs Field, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive, but I don't know. I'm probably not about to rush out and buy it. Is it going to need like a really heavy duty PC to run it? I don't know. It had Xbox in the corner there, so
yeah, I think the specs to run it, if you're into that sort of thing, is fairly hefty. But a lot of people are really excited, and it's clearly it does a good job. So
yeah.
You need your own cooling tower supplying water to
your PC.
computer temperature down.
Okay.
Right.
So, moving on from the news, we have got a little digital update for you. It's been, we've done 3 issues. Hi, Dave. Let's finish the piece on CA. Hang on a second. Let me just put this on here. Let Dave finish the piece about CSA. Now, CAG are the...
we need less acronyms.
Yes.
Okay, so I think Dave did finish the piece about CSA, but if he didn't, ask a question, and if CAG, is that the Chinese KGA? Are they the people who own Cirrus and DAH? Peter, help us out here, Peter.
I think Peter knows more than we do at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We can come back to it.
Yeah. We can come back to it. So let me just give you a quick digital update. We've done 3 digital issues so far, and as you would have noticed, they are effectively page turner digital issues, and they look like a magazine. So ideally, that's done, and there are lots of compromises if you have to produce a paper magazine and a digital magazine, which we don't. So now we only have to produce a digital magazine. So we are working on a new platform, which is very exciting, but it is taking a little while because we need to get everything absolutely spot on and right, and it will significantly enhance the experience. But frankly, we're not. I wish I could say we were weeks away. We're not weeks away. We're probably months away, more than not too many months, but just a short number of months before we can get that platform nailed, get everything else sorted. And what's Dave laughing at?
Just a little bit away, but not quite too far away. But we're not quite ready just yet,
You're right. Okay, so we're working on it. But we have got in the next issue, which Ed's about to tell us about, I think, a couple of things which are kind of starting to move in that direction.
Yes. So we will be. So while we stick with the PDF page turner just for an issue or 2 more, we'll be tweaking the font size just to make that a little bit more readable. A few people have commented on that. And there'll be an improved flyer club section with enhanced landing fees, just to make a bit more out of the landing fees. And we're changing the treatment for the news as well, so you'll see some change there. But it's just things that we're improving just to kind of enhance that PDF solution. And like Ian says, the new format, which is run through the kind of market-leading content management system, is going to be really exciting. But as Ian mentioned, we were chatting about it earlier, and these things move at the speed of money sometimes. So
they absolutely do. And while we may all look like swans, there is an awful lot of paddling going on underneath the surface.
Yeah.
Just to keep the generators going. Okay, moving on from that briefly, I just wanted to give you a quick update on the 2K. If you were watching last week, you remember this was Thursday. This time last week, I was heading off to the 2K on Friday, and Simon gave me a little later start because of the weather, and that all worked out fine. So the 2K was great. However, I should say there's a few more bits of paper that you have to do. Which I didn't actually know about at the time and didn't do, but oops. So now you fill out a gen deck, which is emailed to Heathrow, and there's a great document that John Cook produced that I'll link in the I'll link in the description underneath. But effectively, you have to do a gen deck, and then when you get back, you have to do a passenger information thing. So it's all based around health. It's not actually as hard as it sounds, and it's not. It's one of those things, when you explain it, it sounds, oh my God, it's a pain in the backside. But frankly, it's still relatively easy to go to the 2K. Just got to fill in the forms. Most of them you can do online. They're really dumb forms. They're aimed at airlines. Like, what seat were you sitting in? What's your flight number? All that kind of stuff. So just have a bit of fun, make it up. I mean, and frankly, you will know everyone who's...
Border Force will be coming around your house tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, who's going to fly to the 2K with people in the airplane? Which kind of general aviation pilot go, I don't know who they are. No. I mean, the information's all in the GAR anyway. But I'll link to this form. Take it out and fill it out very, very, very seriously. Don't have a joke or anything at all, because those people probably haven't got a sense of humour or anything. So just
they might have. Yes, it's like the other way. Don't say that they haven't got a sense of humour. There might be some very funny.
There might be some very funny border force people. Yes, absolutely. Good. Right, moving on. Events. Because we're running out of time. We've still got the weather to bring you. Lundy Sunday, as they say.
Yep. There's a flying at Lundy?
Flying at Lundy is on the 2nd of August.
Yes.
What is French for sense of humour?
What?
Sens de l'humour. Is that okay? Great.
Right.
Yeah.
PPR only, no camping. So it's unlike other years where you could camp. That's not allowed this year. So it's a one-off flying. You do need to PPR before going in. There's details of it, or there will be details of it on the Flyer website tomorrow.
Excellent.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. I've been. I don't know how many people here have been into Lundy. I did go into Lundy in the 182. It's not a strip that you can relax on. You know, it's not outrageously difficult or anything. But you just have to be on the numbers. Well, there aren't any numbers. You have to be on the runway, not hit the wall as you go over it. If you're on 2-4, I think it is. The warnings are there's lots of rabbit holes, rocks, and all sorts of things. But actually, if you want to go in, the flying's a great time because you've had a whole load of people walking up and down the runway and moving all those big things. And it is a great place to visit. You've got a bit of an overwater. It's usually quite windy, so performance is not as bad as it might be. But yeah, no, give it a go. But get PPR and all that stuff, definitely.
Yep.
What else is going on then? Piper's 60th birthday. I forgot to check that was on. We think it's on, but it might not be. Check with Compton. Anyone know out there?
It's the Piper Cherokee 60th birthday flying, isn't it? And it's a Compton Abbas, and it's meant to be on the 26th of July. So as always, PPR, check it out.
Yeah.
It was. I went into Compton last Sunday, and it was fantastically busy. So
brilliant.
It was good to see.
Yeah,
brilliant. Next week coming up, is it next week? We got a whole bunch of stuff: EAA virtual stuff, Garmin virtual stuff, Dynon virtual stuff.
Yeah, it's all the virtual stuff to do with the fact that there's no AirVenture, no Oshkosh event this year, and EAA have a whole bunch of programs running to replace fill the gap. And obviously, there's Garmin are running a whole number of seminars and webinars, and I think Dynon are doing similar stuff as well, aren't they?
That's right.
I expect there'll be loads of people, and obviously this time of year we'd be washing and ironing our socks, getting ready to go off to Oshkosh and traipse around the showground for a week.
Yeah, cool.
Frankly, it's disappointing to not be there. Let's just leave it there, shall we? Unless anyone's got anything really important they want to say, I think I'm going to play Simon Keeling's weather update for the weekend. Simon is going to try and be with us on Thursday night so you can ask him questions, but he couldn't make it tonight because he was washing his hair or something. So he sent us a video. So here you go. Here's the weather from Simon. Hello, Simon. How are you doing?
Evening, everybody. Hope that you're well this evening. Getting ready to fly this weekend. I've got a quick update for you on where conditions are likely to be as we get into this weekend. Saturday, we've got a front over the top of us. All looks a bit of a mess. If you saw the fly weekend forecast a little bit earlier, you'll have seen me talking about this front. It brings lots of cloud. It brings lots of outbreaks of rain across many parts of central England, across Wales, across southwest England as well. Looks a bit better in the southeastern corners, so sort of East Anglia through southern England, through southeast England. These areas are looking better. Base is about 3,000 or 4,000 feet here. Tops getting up at around the 8,000 to 9,000 foot level. Lower cloud along the line of this front. I think local flying's probably okay. Midlands looks all right, but I think it gets murky across Wales and southwest England, probably non-VFR there. Some heavy showers for western Scotland, for western parts of Ireland as well. Base is here 3,000 feet, but these are cumulonimbus clouds as well. Tops at about 15 to 20,000 feet. VFRable eastern Scotland and across northeast England as well. Now we can pick up on that front as it heads southwards. on these charts from Weather Online. So what we're looking at here is pressure and rainfall. Now, the time for the charts is down the bottom right-hand corner here. So this is 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. So just run them through. Look, there's 10 o'clock and there is midday. Now, by then, the line of the front is sort of down here. So that's 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And this front doesn't have much on it, and it will be tracking its way southeastwards as the afternoon goes on. Here it goes, look, so that by Saturday evening it's across southern parts of England. You notice the far southeast tends to stay out of it, and actually the cross-channel conditions are looking pretty good. But by then we've got heavier bursts of rain just feeding into southwest England, southern Wales, coming up to southern parts of the Midlands and southern parts of England, making flying conditions here, I think, non-VFRable. Plenty of hill and coastal fog starting to develop. Further north, bright, generally dry, few showers, yes, heavier showers across western parts of Scotland, but north is always generally better. I know you'll say that anyway. And then for getting into Sunday, here we are, 7 o'clock Sunday morning. Still got the remnants of the front look across East Anglia and the southeast. Uncertainty over how quickly this front clears away. It is in here. And I think it will start to drift away down to the southeast through the course of Sunday morning. But it might take some time to clear from East Anglia and the far southeast. And it still lies through the channel. So it's kind of through here at midday, making channel conditions, I would say, marginal. Some showers coming into western Scotland, some of those quite heavy through Sunday. Eastern Scotland fares better, northern England fare better, and the Midlands and Wales. Always a fair amount of cloud around, but it's a reasonable flying day, I think, for Sunday. That's the position for 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And then through the afternoon on Sunday, still 1 or 2 showers affecting eastern areas, central, southern parts of England. The front's still lying through northern parts of France and heavier showers across Scotland. And let me just show you, particularly those of you who've been to weather school, what the Skew looks like for Le Touquet on Sunday afternoon. Here it is. So this is Le Touquet, 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Again, like I say, those of you who've been to weather school know what we're looking at here. If you want to understand all about Skew-Ts, I've got my online course, A Pilot's Guide to Skew-Ts. They allow you to predict things like cloud bases, tops, whether there'll be showers, whether there'll be rain, whether the clouds in layers, and also predict the winds at all different levels as well. And what this is showing us is a cloud base here at Le Touquet in the afternoon, probably about 1,500 to 1,800 feet. Tops are around 4,500 to 5,000 feet, and that is just indicating there is a low risk of a shower. So that sounding is actually made through the front itself. So certainly a risk of some cloud there across northern parts of France. Now, if you want to know more about weather school, then get yourself along to weather school. And I've got my Aviation Weather School Part 1 running online this weekend and next weekend from 9:30 in the morning till 12:30. It's over 2 sessions. So that's session in the morning this Saturday and another session next Saturday morning when you've had a chance to look at what you learn on Saturday. This builds your confidence in reading charts, in making predictions up to 5 days ahead for your flying. I've got 1 place left on the course this weekend. So if you do want to come along, go to weatherschool.co.uk and you can book your place now. Okay, guys, have a great evening. Hopefully that's useful for you. Enjoy your flying this weekend and I'll see you very soon.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I do love a good Skew-T.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look that nice. So I took from that basically no barbecues in the south on Saturday evening, and might be a lowish cloud base on Sunday in Le Touquet. So just a quick one because we're running over. We are 2 minutes over at the moment. Breaking news. There's going to be some breaking news. Well, breaking news. When you want your breaking news, head to the Flyer website. Next week would have been Oshkosh week, or coming up to Oshkosh week, not Oshkosh week actually. So there's likely to be a few bits and pieces, and I suspect that next week will start to be quite a big news week. So keep an eye on that because there's if stuff's going to happen, that's when it's going to happen. So don't forget to check the website. Don't forget to sign up for the Flyer newsletter. Then you get the news to your inbox. Don't forget to join the Flyer Club. Then you get all sorts of benefits, including 5% off at Poolies at the moment. So just join, log in, and get the code. That's great. Don't forget the Bose offer. So you get whatever it is, €299 worth of voucher towards their other consumer electronics. And don't forget to like this if you're looking at it on Facebook or YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube and all the rest of it. There's a whole bunch more videos, podcasts, magazines, and other bits and pieces in the pipeline that we'll have with you soon.
Great.
I think that's about it from me.
It's a wrap.
Anything?
Yep.
No?
That's it.
Okay.
Max Pemberton pointed out he checked that the Piper flight, the PA-28 60th anniversary is still on at Cobden, if you fancy going that. Thanks, Max.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Max. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And, that was Mark. I thought it was Mark talking about the Windsock, not Carol. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. And hopefully we'll see you next week or an airfield sometime soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye all. See ya.